There we go.
Hello, everyone. Tim here. We're going to be talking Godfather. I have a fantastic group of people, and we're going to be discussing Godfather 1 and Godfather 2, specifically because Godfather turned 50 years old. That is crazy. I can't believe this movie is 50. Oh, my God. So this is, of course, a spoiler stream. We can't discuss these movies without discussing spoilers. It just is what it is. But before we dive into that stuff, let's meet the panel, and we'll start it off. We'll do it a little bit different, and I'll go down. So, Derek, why don't you, convicted cinephile, take it away.
Oh, hey there. I'm Derek, the convicted cinephile. And on my channel, I like to talk, chop, and pop movies and physical media and all that other jargon that people say on YouTube. But yeah, it's Oscar weekend, so that's what I'm focusing on all this week. I did a video every day this week, leading up to tomorrow's Academy Awards, and then you'll see me being angry tomorrow with my reaction video. So yeah.
Alrighty, yeah, I bet you're really excited for the Oscars.
Yeah, right, I've been enjoying his Oscar content this week.
Yeah, he's freaking keeping it going, pumping it out.
That's tough with a kid around.
Oh yeah. Next up, we have Kenneth Corleone.
Tim, you invite me here on the day of my daughter's wedding to talk to Godfather, and I show up for you. Godfather. I'm excited to get into it. Let's do this.
All righty. Next up, we have a newcomer who I will also say subscribe to everybody if you're not already. All links down below. But we have Rob Knapp.
Hey guys, Rob Knapp here. On my channel, I talk a lot about horror movies, and I do some physical release videos, some hauls, and I came to talk Godfather tonight with everybody.
All righty, glad to have you. Yeah, this is any streams. If anyone wants to be on, it doesn't matter how new your channel is. If you even have a channel, just send me a DM, and this is open to anybody. Next and last, but certainly not least, is Tony.
Hey, I'm Tony, BasementBlus. I love collecting physical media, talking movies, and very happy to be able to talk about The Godfather tonight.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I'm
just waiting for Tim to give us all the offer that we can't refuse.
Oh my God! If I could do impersonations, I would attempt. I did actually look in the closet to see if I had a nice like blazer. I was gonna dress up like more proper, like a man. And no, all you get is this button up. I was gonna slick back the hair too. I was gonna do it all.
I brought cotton balls, but I didn't use them.
Oh yeah, put them in, man.
All right.
So we'll make a quick run through, just see who's here. Tony's here, which yes, he is. Southern Cinema, looking forward to this. One of my favorite movies on top 5. Yep. Holland Oates, Jerry, Bin Buster, My Killer Podcast. What up? Let's see. Yeah, people were in here before we even started. Very grateful for that. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Because I know not everyone has seen Godfather, so I know some people can't really watch if they don't want to be spoiled. It is what it is. Category 3 and me. Bin Buster again. Just everyone saying hey. We have R&D Studios. Hello, all. Where is James C? What's up? We got Huck here. He just finished up trivia. Did you guys watch any of the trivia?
Yeah, he was doing a good job.
At the tail end.
Yeah. It's anyone in the comments watch that replay. Huck, you killed it. You absolutely killed it. It was incredibly well done. Holland Oates again. Movies with Ryan, who was on it. Go for the impersonation, Ken. I saw the hand going.
I don't know. Does he even do the hand? I feel like that's somebody else.
That's just stereotype. Italian thing.
Spoilers for a 50-year-old movie.
Believe it or
wanted
not, I get crap all the time on my channel for spoiling like movies from the 50s. So yeah, that's a thing.
I just had to throw it out there. I don't want anyone being like, why didn't you
People
tell
get
me?
upset. Like I get it. There's all kinds of movies I haven't seen, but that are really old.
Yeah. We got Matt here, Vengeance Media. What's going on, fam? All-star panel. Yes, it is. Born to be Rad here. Jim Powers, what's up? Johnny, what's up, Tim and crew? I want to hear all y'all's Oscar winner predictions. That would definitely be the guy right below me. He'll probably
watch my video.
I mean, Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up is going to win everything, aren't they?
Oh yeah, it's gonna get all 4 things it's up for.
And everyone would love that choice.
Silly disaster movie parody.
Yeah,
this was an offer I couldn't refuse.
Oh, yes,
all right,
yes, it was.
So, I'm gonna start this off with hopefully a pretty simple question, but what's everyone's first experience with The Godfather? When did you first see it? Was this new to you now? When did you see it? And started off with Tony and just pretty much tell me your experience watching the movies.
So the first Godfather movie came out in 1972, and I was 3 years old. And I do remember as a child, throughout my childhood, seeing bits and pieces of it, but never the whole film. So the first time I actually watched the whole film was only 3 years ago. And then again, I watched it today for the second time. And I forgot exactly how slow paced it really is. The first 30 minutes is just the whole wedding party. Then after that, it just kind of drags for 2.5 hours. But it's still good.
That's 2.5 hours, but you're not wrong.
How could you? Could you, Tony?
You really sold the movie right there.
That's just my experience for today.
It just screeches to a halt after that wedding. It's all downhill from there.
So, Rob, what's your experience?
My uncle probably showed me it the first time from when I can remember. I was probably a teenager at the time, and I just remember being like, man, this is boring. But now that I go back and watch them, it's like a totally different experience. But I remember like my uncle showed me them one night with my cousin. And I was like, man, these are old. Like I didn't enjoy them back then, you know. They weren't my type. They weren't the type of thing that like a teenager really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's crazy how you can grow to appreciate movies as you get older, because there is tons of stuff that I watch now that teenager me or younger would have just get that crap out of here. I want to watch the new stuff.
Yeah.
So I can feel that. So Kenneth Corleone, I can't even pronounce it. I just watched the damn movies. But
just when I thought I was done talking about The Godfather, you guys bring me back in. I haven't even saw that one. That's on the third one, right? So my first experience, I think, was 3 years ago. I think I was watching a bunch of like Best Picture winners, like leading up to the Oscars, because I used to like watching that stuff too. And I watched it, and I was like, okay, this is pretty good. Like you guys said, it was a little slow. But I liked it. I understood why it was held up as the classic and the masterpiece that it was. But I kind of thought it was a little bit overhyped, to be honest. But I don't know what it is with this watch through. I just watched it the other day, but I was just completely captivated the whole way through by everything. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a perfect movie. I don't know if it was the 4K transfer, the fact that it looked better, or maybe my film taste is just a little bit more refined 3 years later. I feel like I've watched a lot more stuff in the past 3 years, kind of gone on a journey, watching a lot of different classics and stuff, getting myself out of my comfort zone a bit. But I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. It did no part of the first one felt slow to me. I was engaged the whole time. Now the second one, a different story, but we'll get to that.
Yep. All right, take it away, Derek. What's your experience?
Well, the first time I was supposed to watch it was actually back in film school. We were going to watch it for my film history class. And my teacher was like, well, everyone's seen The Godfather, so we're going to watch Apocalypse Now instead. And I was like, I haven't seen it. And I was probably the only one who hadn't seen it at that point. And to this day, I still prefer Apocalypse Now, honestly. But I did watch it eventually when I bought the DVDs as I collected my AFI Top 100 Movies list, which is right there. So I'll probably enjoy it more if I watch it again. I've seen them. I've watched the first two a few times, but it's probably been a dozen years since I've watched it. I've only got the old piece of crap, Coppola Restoration Blu-ray. Can't see anything on that. So I'm excited to finally give it a good rewatch on the 4K when I get those in.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the 4Ks at the end, but man, they're freaking phenomenal. But so my experience with it is, I think it was English class that the teacher didn't really. She showed us all types of stuff. I watched Maximum Overdrive in that class, but we watched the first Godfather, and I'm bad at remembering stuff if it's been long enough. So when I watched it 2 days ago, I remembered like bits and parts, but this was my first time like really like watching the whole thing and fully absorbing it. And then the second one I didn't see it all. So pretty new to the Godfather movies overall, and I've absolutely loved the first one. I didn't love the second one. There's things about it, but yeah, I really loved the first one like a lot.
I will say that I haven't been able to get the second one out of my head since I watched it. Like, there's things about that ending that's like been following me around for the past few days, and so it might. I feel like if I watched it again, I might have a little bit different opinion of it.
Yeah, I gave the second one a 4 on Letterboxd. I gave the first one a 5. The second one might go up to like a 4.5 after maybe a rewatch. The end is dark. It's dark. But I figured before jumping in now to talking about the first one, I just would like to go over the awards and the prestige of this real quick, which awards pretty much just goes to Derek. He has it. So
I did print it out because it's so much to remember. But yeah, so the first one got nominated for 11 Oscars. Guess how many it won? Does anyone know?
3.
Yeah, 3 out of 11, which seems low in hindsight. So it won picture, actor who didn't show up, and adapted screenplay. And then it lost everything else basically to Cabaret, which won, I want to say 9.
I think you're right.
8 or 9, yeah. 8, I think you're right, is 8. Which is the highest amount of Oscars a movie has won without winning Best Picture. So we have The Godfather to thank for that. But yeah, Marlon Brando won, and there's 3 supporting actor nominees, including Al Pacino, who didn't want to go because he shouldn't be in supporting actor, like you guys said. And I know cinematography wasn't nominated out of all the things not nominated for the movie because Paramount was like really weirded out by how dark it was, and they thought something went horribly wrong at first, and then they finally realized that it was a good thing. But yeah, I'll go off the list here just so I can get them all. You got Best Supporting Actor, James Caan, Robert Duvall, and Al Pacino. Best Director for Francis Ford Coppola. Costumes, Sound, Editing, and Score, which that nomination was actually retracted because they used bits and pieces of the same composer's previous score, so it ended up getting disqualified. Which is funny because then the second movie score won, which uses pieces of this music, which uses pieces of that music. So I guess they stopped caring 2 years later.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the Al Pacino supporting actor real quick. I can kind of see that a little bit because if you watch like the first I don't know, hour and a half to 2 hours, it does feel like Al Pacino isn't in it a lot, or at least the first hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that because when I'm thinking back to like the first hour and a half of The Godfather, I think of Marlon Brando. I'm thinking of James Caan. Like he was really front and center in a lot of it. So I can kind of see it, but definitely the last hour is really Al Pacino centric.
Yep.
So I don't know. I can kind of see it both ways.
I'm sure Marlon Brando had a say in that. So
Yeah.
when I think about it, Marlon Brando is, when you think Godfather, you think Marlon Brando, which is probably why they went with him for lead too, because like he is absolutely the face of it. His character is important to everything that happens throughout the movies. So I do kind of get it, but it also, I mean, you break it down by numbers, and Pacino should be lead.
Yeah, but they both should be, if anything.
Yeah. But then again,
Marlon Brando is just such a presence in this movie. Like, I literally got intimidated just watching him on screen, like him just being like that close to me on my TV, watching him in 4K, like right there. Like, I was intimidated by his performance. Like, I would not want to be in a room with that guy. I don't know. There's just something about it.
Yeah. I guess it is possible if Pacino got nominated for lead and Brando stayed in for lead, they could have split the vote. Because in the second movie, there's 3 nominations in supporting, and none of them win because they split the vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I think the first and second movie both had 3 supporting nominations. Let me double check. Yeah, they both did.
Oh, they both did? Wow.
Yeah. Well, De Niro won.
They've done that all throughout Oscar history. I mean, like a few years ago with The Favorite, like Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone were both in supporting. I think Rachel Weisz was more of a lead in that movie. But Olivia Colman was in a lead.
Worked out for her, though.
Yeah. So, other than you mentioned a whole bunch of the awards, this also for AFI Top 100, Godfather is number 2, and Part 2 is 32. And at IMDb Top 250, Godfather number 2, Part 2 is number 4. So, these are very highly regarded movies in general consensus.
What was number 1 and 3 again? And 5?
For which one, AFI or IMDb?
AFI.
Citizen Kane is number 1.
Or no, I guess IMDb. You said they're 2 and 4 in IMDb.
IMDb is Dark Knight's number 1. I don't remember what number 3 is.
I thought Shawshank was number 1 on there. It changed, huh?
It's no Dark Knight when I looked.
Yeah. Kids nowadays.
I mean, either way.
Don't even get me started on Citizen Kane.
I love Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane fan.
Citizen Kane is incredibly important for filmmaking, though. Like it did a lot of groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, the shots in that movie is what is the most impressive thing about it. I mean, this was made in the 40s. I was like, damn, these are shots that I thought were popularized in like the 90s.
Yeah, now that we got the award stuff out of the way, let's just talk the first movie then. The movie that actually turned 50. So, what did everyone think?
I
want to know what Tony hated about this movie first.
First of all,
why did it drag?
I did not say I hated it. It got a 4 on my letterbox. But
a 4?
Yeah.
Well, out of 10, right?
I hardly ever give a 5. But anyways, I didn't hate the movie. It was just long, and just long.
It is slow. I haven't seen it in a few years, but I've only watched it a couple times. But I was always a little not interested in the story because it does drag more than I would prefer, at least from what I remember. Not that it's bad in any way. It's just
it's definitely not a bad movie. Of course, it's not bad. Look how well it has done, but it was just a slower movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not one that I would go rewatch often. So yeah.
It's weird that
these
it's
movies
a movie
don't have
that... Oh, go ahead.
They don't have the energy that like a Goodfellas or a Scorsese has. But I don't know. I kind of like the slower, more methodical pace sometimes when it's done really well. And I was just able to recognize things this time around that I couldn't the first time, and just get more drawn in.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking. So you feel the length in this. Sometimes if a movie is paced in a certain way, it could be 3 hours and it doesn't feel like it. This feels like a 3-hour movie, but it feels like an incredibly well done 3-hour movie that honestly in the first one, I can't think of things I would cut necessarily. Everything feels like it has a purpose, and especially because of the slow parts, when it ramps up the tension, like when they're in the hospital, when Michael goes to the hospital to visit, That scene is so incredibly tense. It is excellent. Like my jaw was on the floor. I'm like, oh my god, this is so well done. I think that was probably my favorite scene in that whole movie.
That's a good one where you see the guy come up the steps and he's just waiting there for somebody to come up the steps. Yeah, that's great. It's great. Also the restaurant is probably one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, that's probably the most famous.
Where he goes in the bathroom and gets the gun and comes back out, but he doesn't do what they told him to do immediately. He goes and sits down, and then you're kind of waiting for shit to hit the fan, and it finally does. I don't know. It's incredible. I don't know.
Yeah, it was excellent performances across the board, and the tense scenes. Oh my god, I really loved everything about this. The music was the score. I have to buy the scores because, especially again with that whole hospital scene. Oh my god, I loved it. But who did you all think had the best performance though? Do you think Brando or?
Definitely Brando for me. But I mean, that's not taking anything away from Al Pacino. But I mean, his is just too iconic.
Yeah,
that was enjoyable. He's always fun. He's fun to watch. He's probably the most fun character in the film to watch, I'd say.
It's a more toned down type of role, but I loved Robert Duvall across both as Tom Hagen. I thought he was excellent.
Well, I said in my review that I thought James Caan was probably like one of the more underrated performances in the movie.
Yeah, he's great.
I loved him in the movie. He's so he's so dialed up to like 11 the whole time, but I just
he's the hothead of the family.
Yeah.
His death towards the end, that's another like crazy ramped up scene. So good. That is,
which I was thinking about that scene, and again, we said we're talking spoilers here, but
full spoilers.
So I didn't know quite how to feel about it. So her husband, what was his name? Carlos.
I can't think of his name. Right as he's racing,
he was working for one of the 5 families, right? The one that was going against them. I can't remember his name either. So did he beat his sister to draw him out of the compound? Like, do you think it was just a coincidence? Because he was going after his sister.
Ooh. I didn't actually think about it if that was done on purpose. I just was thinking
it feels like because she's like throwing dishes around the house or whatever. So it feels like it's something that just kind of happened. But I was thinking, I was like, was he working with them to draw? Was that their way of getting James Caan out of the compound so they could shoot him? Because it was all set up. As soon as he drives through that the toll booth, the guy ducks and everybody pops up and kills him.
Yeah.
Shoots like 100 million holes in him. I remember watching it the first time. I was like, damn, this movie is like so violent. I know you said this is like not a shoot 'em up kind of movie, and it isn't. Like, it is slower, but like when you do get those scenes, like they are gory and bloody as hell. And very violent.
The deaths in the movie are way more spread out. Like, everything has more meaning in it. It's not like some mob movies where they're killing people every 5 minutes. Like, you can go a good 40 minutes with nobody being killed. It's all just dialogue. But
so Pop Culture said, yes, he beats his sister to get him out of the house. That's how I always watch it. That is why brother-in-law is killed at the end, because Michael knows it. I guess that was the betrayal. The reason why he killed him.
Well,
but I didn't realize that when I watched it. I was talking to somebody at work about it, and they were like, yeah, I guess maybe that could have been it. But I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't put the 2 and 2 together with that, actually. That does make a ton of sense. So I actually thought he was killed just because, well, no, then I guess he wouldn't have found out.
But it does feel like something that was done spontaneously, like they're fighting and then he beats her or whatever. It doesn't feel like it was intentional. But if it was intentional, like that is, pretty sinister.
Right.
So what is some of everyone's favorite scenes then? Like, Rob, what's your favorite scene in the movie? Do you know? Like, what sticks out
the
most?
That where he goes and visits him in the hospital scene. with that tension. I just loved that part. And when you knew he was all in when he was he's told the nurse, like, we have to get my father out of here, out of this room. Someone's coming to kill him. Like, this is pretty legit right now, you know? That's the first time in the movie that my heart got going for a moment. I was like, all right, I'm in for the long run now.
Yeah. What I loved in that scene too was, I can't remember if he was a baker or a florist, but the guy that comes up the steps.
Yeah, the family baker.
Yeah. So at the end of that like scene where they're on the steps outside pretending that they're the bodyguards, when you see that guy shaking when he's going to light the cigarette, you can tell like, oh shit, this is not my territory. What am I doing right now? Oh my God. That's tense from beginning to end.
Yeah, and another thing I love about that scene is it really kind of cements the relationship between the father and the son, because he knows that Michael came back to protect him, and then you see that tear like trickle down. So that was the moment that, to me, like when they kind of locked eyes, that his father knew that he was going to be the one to take over for the family, and Michael kind of knew that as well. He kind of made that decision.
So we're not into 2 yet, but do you like Michael's arc more in 1 than in 2? Because I like his arc more in the first.
I think they're both incredible. My only problem with the second one, it's a great movie. Like I said, I could see a world where, you know, I rate it as high, maybe even higher than the first one someday. But the first film feels really complete. It does feel like a complete story. Like Michael has an arc that is completed by the end, and all you need is that look from Diane Keaton to know that there's going to be trouble between them at some point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, but they're both great. Just the second one's way more darker and goes a lot more in depth with the themes.
Yeah. So one of the only things about the first movie that I didn't love, and this again could be me not maybe missing something, but when Michael is away in Sicily, how it keeps going, like flashing back to what he's doing at that time. A lot of that kind of felt like fluffing it a little bit, like it doesn't lead to as much. You're just seeing what he's doing at that time, but it doesn't seem as consequential. Like you're seeing him trying to woo this woman who ends up getting blown up and really doesn't matter much. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's the only like section of the movie that kind of just, I'm like, what is this really adding besides showing us, yes, Michael is still away because he killed the 2 people. Like that, I think that's the only like complaint I have for myself.
And that's a big section. That's a big section of the movie that was slow for me, but I can see where it's necessary, but not as much.
Yeah, I didn't need. I could see like, yes, Michael is away. Quickly show us, but they're giving us the whole romance subplot with Michael, where that doesn't lead anywhere because she gets blown up and then he goes right home to get Kay. So it's, what did the addition of this woman really do? Do you know what I'm saying? And did I miss something potentially? Is there something in there that was needed, or
other than maybe just furthering the plot with Michael and his arc, as far as maybe not truly believing in love like he did once before? Maybe not. Maybe that was kind of like the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and plus the fact that maybe it's a little bit more got him into the fact that he wanted to kind of get revenge for that death of that woman in the car, you know, his wife. You know, maybe it made him more apt to want to go back and do something.
Send him more down the darker path.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, because by the second movie, he gets very vengeful.
Yeah, and also it kind of showcases how he was kind of a scumbag. Because I mean, he just left Kay and he's going to this other country and then marries the first cute girl that he sees.
Yeah, but then
how he didn't really care about her as much as he said he did.
Yeah, and he comes back. He's back for an entire year and just shows up like, "Hey, Kay, I'm back. I've been back for a year. Let's get married."
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mentions that at all. There's never a part where he tells her about that.
Yeah.
Like so he just doesn't have a conscience, I guess, as well.
Shows he's good at keeping secrets.
Good at keeping secrets. Yeah.
Actually, there was like the original cut that Francis Ford Coppola had was like 50 minutes shorter or something like that. Like that was his actual original. Yeah, that was like his original director's cut, I guess. So basically, it's like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And then like Robert Evans like forced him to go back and put in like a bunch of family stuff to like lengthen it.
But I do remember the first time I watched it, I did think that part felt really unnecessary. Kind of similar to how I felt about the second one, Robert De Niro and all the flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah, so I was mentioning before, we're going to get into 2, but I kind of felt like 2 should have been split into 2 movies, essentially. Like I could have had like a prequel movie with just Vito, young Vito.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Something about the flashbacks just, I don't know. I kind of just, in Godfather 1, I just wanted a more straightforward movie. I didn't want jumping back and forth between Michael and stuff as much. It just,
because that's freaking Robert De Niro, man. Like, imagine what he could have done with a whole movie of that material. Like, come on. Like, you're going to only give me, like, maybe 25 minutes of that, and you're just going to cut it up here and there. It felt too rushed.
He specifically learned Sicilian for that role. That's crazy.
Yeah, he lived there for a few months, too, yeah. I actually I always preferred the second one to the first one the few times I watched them. I think I just like the Robert De Niro stuff a lot, so it's just kind of swayed me that I think it's a little more keeps me more interested with the multiple storylines, I guess.
Yeah.
But who knows? It's been like 15 years.
What does anyone else have to add on this movie? Anything else that sticks out, like, didn't like, scenes that stuck out to you?
I definitely enjoyed the scene with the horse head in the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That really showed you how serious he was about his intentions to get that part or that role or whatever.
Yeah.
And he did his part to convince this guy that I can't remember everybody's name, but anyway, the horse head was a pretty good section.
Yeah, the $600,000 horse, I think it was.
I remember always hearing about the horse head referenced and other stuff, but I never knew it was from The Godfather. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, holy shit. Like, this is like a freaking horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that scene is really good.
The guy that was in the bed must have been a really good sound sleeper for all that to happen.
Yeah. He just wakes up and there's blood all over his body.
Yeah.
Slept like a baby.
The camera keeps it on him for a solid 10 seconds of screaming. It's a good solid 10 seconds of him just screaming.
Yeah.
It was his real horse. That's how they got that reaction.
So, Derek, what didn't work as well for you in it? Since you like 2 more and just
honestly, it's been so long since I watched them because I didn't have time to re-prep for that. But I just was more interested in the dual storylines of the second one both times I watched it. But I bet if I watched them again, I'd probably like them about equally, especially if I was actually in the mood to watch them. Because I think I watched them back to back when I did both of them. And by the time you're done with those 2, it's tough to even consider going into 3 when you know it's not going to be as good. So,
that's kind of how I felt. I didn't even want to try when I was done with 2.
Yeah, that's why I watched that.
When I was done with the first one, I was exhausted with emotions and stuff.
Yeah,
and I was like,
they're exhausting.
I can jump straight into 2.
It's not a bad thing, but they are very. You have to focus constantly, so they're very exhausting movies to focus on and get through them.
The second one is just so draining.
Yeah.
But the last thing I'll say about Michael's arc in the first one, and compared to the second one, is that the end of the first one, Michael Corleone as a character, he's a bad guy and he's making that turn, but it kind of feels cool, and badass. He's like, he's taking out the leaders of the 5 families and stuff. So, and I think that's why I think they said that Francis Ford Coppola purposely made the second one a lot darker because people were rooting for Michael at the end of the first one.
Yeah,
sure.
He didn't want people to go down that path.
He transitions to a full-on villain in the second movie. Like he's not a good dude.
I mean, you could argue he's a full-blown villain at the end of the first one, but it's just the way that they do it.
Yeah, there's more
Kind
heart
of
to the character, though.
kind of feels more like the anti-hero. Like, he's Stone Cold Steve Austin at the end of the first one. Like, he's a bad guy, but he's a bad guy you want to root for. At the end of the second one, he's somebody that you want nothing to do with at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. As much as I liked the first more, I feel like there's more to talk about with the second, though, because of just how, I did not like Michael in the second one. But if anyone has anything else, otherwise we'll hop over to the chat and just check on that, and then we can start talking Godfather 2.
Yeah.
All righty. So, looks like Ryan lost. What's up, fellas? We got decent amount of chat. Culture Trini is in here. It is good or not. You made it sound real bad, Tony.
that was not my intention. It's a good movie. It's just, yeah.
It's so slow and boring, and
it's not that it was boring. It was just slow paced. I actually enjoyed it better the first time I watched it. So this was my second time actually seeing it all the way through today. And
the way you described it the second time was kind of the same way I felt the first time I watched it.
Yeah, the first time I watched it, I was glued to the TV. I actually watched part 1 and part 2 the same day the last time I watched these films.
Oh my God, that's a long day.
And so today I only watched the first one, and it seemed like it was too long.
Elevated Mafia.
Well, thanks, Tony. I don't have to watch it now.
I think both times I watched them, I did watch them back to back both days too. So I think if I just watched the first one and then I, sleep for 12 hours, it's kind of like watching the Justice League movie. You just need a nap in between the first half of it.
I did them 24 hours apart.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And super slow movies. They're methodically slow though. That's the thing. I like slow if it has something to say. So I was perfectly okay with the slow for these.
You always got to define slow. Like what does slow really mean? Like, is there just not enough action, not enough quippy dialogue? It's just actually just too long. Like what is slow? Slow, I feel, can be subjective. It's different to everybody. It's all in what you can digest at that particular time and moment.
I feel like if I can feel the runtime more, it does feel a little slow. Like Godfather does feel like a 3-hour movie. Like it doesn't.
Because I'll be honest right here, and I don't want to upset anybody, but the Batman felt really slow to me in parts, and a lot slower than the Godfather did when I watched it.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Also, the Batman was slow for me too. I just like just a lot of dialogue, a lot of action. I like it. I like to watch a 3-hour movie that feels like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Saw it first time on AMC after school one day. Oh my God! AMC does commercial free, right?
Maybe they did.
Maybe back then.
Yeah,
they might for movies, but I mean, they had The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad and all that.
That'd be like a 4+ hour movie on TV.
Yeah, when they first aired it on TV, they aired it over 2 nights.
Oh my God!
Well, the second one actually threw in an intermission. There wasn't an intermission in the first one, but there is in the second.
Yeah. Just watch Sound of Music after intermission too. I thought that was funny.
You have to watch it uncut for your first time. Don't watch it on TV unless you have seen it a few times. Luckily, I watched whatever I was showing in school, and then this 4K. Imagine just the VHS in school.
Oh God, 2 VHSs.
Well, yeah, it would be 2 VHS. Yeah.
Watch on Laserdisc. Flip it 16 times.
Well, it's school too. I would have meant I was watching it in like 40-minute increments, essentially.
Oh, sure.
I think I actually do have The Godfather on VHS. I feel like I found it at a Goodwill a couple years ago and bought it. And it's a two tapes.
Yeah, they're both 2 tapes. They're all 2 tapes, I think.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not the third one shorter. But
My uncle is actually the one that introduced me to this film. We watched it when I was a kid on my grandfather's furniture television. I was captivated from the get-go. Yeah, it's like I said, it held my attention. It was excellent. It's a 5 for me. I
wish I'd been the type of kid to be able to watch The Godfather, but I was just watching Beetlejuice on repeat and Batman '89.
First time when I was 9, yeah, I couldn't absorb this movie at 9.
I don't think I could absorb a movie like this until I was like 35, apparently. I've only recently grown down in my childhood.
That's my problem.
I've seen it so many times since then. Yeah, I'm definitely these 4Ks. I'm so revisiting that. No, oh my god. But hey, guys from Scotland, the first 2 are excellent. Looking forward to watching Coda version 3. Have any of you seen it yet? Not yet. That's it. Yeah, we specifically said we're not talking Coda on the stream just because none of us got to it, and
we don't talk about Coda.
I am looking forward to it though. I'm probably gonna watch it tomorrow because I may as well round out the trilogy now.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. Probably do a review on it.
Yeah,
you're gonna watch.
I feel bad having to skip out on it.
Yeah.
I am not watching all 3 cuts though. I'm watching Coda.
Yeah, 3 cuts. That's right.
Somebody told me that I should watch the original one so I can appreciate Coda more. I'm like, that's going to be like 5 hours. So I'm not doing that.
A lot of dedication. Yeah. So, who's the Don Mafia of the media or media out of the crew? All cool stream fellas. Well, Ken's the one that got more into the whole, renaming himself to be part of the family.
Hey.
I did wear a nice shirt, so.
I wore my Halloween 2 shirt, which I would argue that
my Halloween 3 shirt
are the Godfather and Godfather Part 2 of war.
Let's see, some more Hayes. Yeah, but you have to appreciate story build-up for each movie. Yeah. They're slow, but they're really well told. What's up? More hellos. Oh, here. What would you cut out? Like, for me, the Sicily stuff in the first movie is what I would at least trim.
Yeah, just tighten it up.
Yeah. I didn't need that much. I didn't need the whole him marrying the woman and all that. It really didn't add. To me, it didn't add much. Is there anything you guys would trim?
Pretty much that was it.
Seems to be the most used.
I'm not really into talking like specifics of what I would trim just because I'm not the filmmaker. And I feel like if I trim something, I might make the film worse. Like if I actually pinpointed what I thought. So I just like to speak of it in a general sense.
All right.
And I don't think I'd trim anything. I don't think I'd trim anything. Maybe next time I watch it on 1.5 speed so I can get through it a little quicker.
I try to do that.
You're either in it or not. It's kind of a niche thing. More Hayes, lukewarm reception. No, it's not. It's not really that. I mean, like I said, I give it a 5. The first movie is excellent. It's not. I loved it, but it's just it's.
See, Tony set the tone. You know.
I told you not to go to me first. Remember?
Look, it's great, but it's really slow.
But I hate it.
And I hated my experience watching it.
But it's good. I did want in general, I wanted to mix talk too. I didn't want everyone to just strictly gush over them. I mean, they're
I
great.
do like how there's no Godfather aficionados here because I kind of felt like I was going to be alone, that I was the only one that had just recently watched it, but Tim recently watched it.
Yeah, that's why
Tony is pretty much the same as me. Watched it 3 years ago and then rewatched it now.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in 13 years, so that
so basically in 13 years. Both of you all have seen it for a while. You just haven't watched it recently, right? Have you watched it recently, Ron?
I just watched it recently after watching it like 10 years ago. Yeah.
So did the third one redeem itself yet? Don't know. Yeah.
We'll talk about that
Yeah.
in 11 years on its 50th anniversary.
I'm gonna have to watch Coda soon, though. I figured, like, to me, you could talk Godfather with 1 and 2, and kind of 3 is part of it. But I mean, it's a movie that came 16 years later. It wasn't even half the people didn't want to even do it. Like Pacino was trying to negotiate more money because he wasn't even.
Yeah, he barely did it. Yeah.
Robert Duvall wanted more money. They wouldn't give it, so he didn't do it because he felt it was unnecessary.
Oh, Robert Duvall's not in it?
No.
Oh,
he asked for he asked for $1 million, and Francis Ford Coppola wouldn't give it to him, so he just
exactly. Yeah, he wanted like $1.5 million, and who would like to match someone else, and they wouldn't do it for some reason. It's like, really?
Yeah.
It's Robert
He pointed out the movie was only made for money, so he wants to make money.
Right. Yeah. No shit. The third one tanked better too. I think the third one cost like twice as much to make as the first two put together.
Well, and you got to think that that movie, didn't the third one come out the same year Goodfellas did?
Yeah, it did.
90,
so right now you're seeing the revitalization of the genre, trying to compete with the the aging grandpa of it.
That restaurant scene is what seals the deal for Michael being all in.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, committing murder. That's him turning from civilian into an actual mobster. He's all in. De Niro, thoughts? Definitely give more thoughts when we get to 2, but he was fantastic.
I love De Niro.
Everyone show Rob Knapp some support with a sub. Looks like he is new. Yeah, definitely everyone sub to him.
Thank you.
Yeah, he needs more subs. Mr. Cal is the great one. Hello, Huck.
I don't think I was subbed, Rob. I just subbed just now.
Thank you, man.
Just now.
No one talks about the ladies in the film. Any thoughts on the roles? Diane Keaton was great. I loved the character of Kay, and I felt for her. I don't know why she said yes when he came back after and just jumped right in, but I loved her character.
She was a little bit more naive in the first one, she wanted to believe that there was still something there, She really loved Michael.
Yeah, believed that he was going to be fully legit within 5 years, which wasn't even close to what was going to happen.
It even, I know we're not talking about the second one yet, but it even feels like she still loves him a lot at the beginning of the second one as well.
Yeah. And turning into pure hatred.
And also, like, talking about the ladies, though, I didn't realize that was Adrian from Rocky until like halfway through the first one. I was like, holy shit, it's Adrian. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that she was Coppola's sister. I just was reading that.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he didn't want to cast her in the movie because she thought she was too pretty at the time, apparently. Which is like interesting because he had his daughter in the third one who can't act.
He didn't want to cast her because she thought she was too pretty.
The nepotism.
She can't act, but she was nominated.
Yeah. No, not for that.
So yes, he beats his sister to get him out of the house. That's how. Oh yeah, that's the one you brought up earlier. Carlo Rizzi. Yeah, that dude was fucking despicable though. Like I was getting angry when he was beating her. I was just like, I hate abuse. Just pisses me off, and I'm just watching that. I'm just like, oh my god, when that bathroom door shuts and you just hear the whip of the belt and stuff. Oh.
And then when Michael's in charge and he makes him his right hand man. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, but it makes sense. Keep your friends close. Or what is it?
Enemies closer.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Okay, yeah. He was a loose cannon and he turned on the family. Subbed up to Rob. Nice. It was the baker. Yeah, that scene with the baker just shaking the freaking lighter. He couldn't even light it. Enzo. Yes, Enzo. That's it. I'm really bad at remembering names, and I just watched them. Like, I can remember key names. Some of the peripheral characters. Sometimes it's a lot to take. There's a lot of characters in these two movies. Like,
I mean, we didn't really talk about Fredo, and I think he has more of a bigger role in the second one. Anyway.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
way
he's
more.
more-
Yeah, Fredo is like a key point in the second one. He's kind of he's there in the first, but he's just the kind of stupid brother that works in the family.
The doofus older brother, right?
Yeah.
John Cazale or Cazale.
Yeah, John Cazale. I did not know this. Somebody, because people are always dropping knowledge bombs on me in my comment section, but they said that he was only in 5 movies. They were all nominated for Best Picture.
And he died.
Yeah, that's true.
And he died in 1978, which is crazy.
Yeah, he's on.
And I did
like-
not realize that he was his partner in Dog Day Afternoon either. I did not realize that was the same guy.
He's in that, and then he's in Deer Hunter with De Niro.
Yeah, Deer Hunter. I haven't seen the other one he was in. Was The Conversation?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I forgot he was in that. That's
I haven't seen The Conversation.
It's good. I watched it a few years ago.
He was really good though in that role for Fredo, but Fredo is when we get to 2 though, he's that character really matters in 2. The pace is what keeps this off my perfect movies list. You have to be in the mood for this film. Although classic, it's not highly rewatchable like some other movies of its kind.
Right.
It's definitely a movie I am going to revisit. They're not movies that I just like. I'm bored to pop on a movie. They're not that type of movie, but I will most definitely revisit them. I think all 3 movies are highly rewatchable. I love movies with slow pacing. Tarkovsky, Tar. I love slow pacing. You do have to be in a certain mood though. My not in a certain mood movies are Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. Watch people get killed.
Something you've seen 40 times and you can just hear and know what's happening.
Michael and Sicily is my favorite part because the turning point that makes him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see it. I don't know. It just felt like Sicily slowed things down for me, though.
Yeah, it definitely did.
You can't compare the Godfather movies with other mafia movies. This is a multi-film build-up story compared to a one-and-done like Goodfellas, which is one of my other favorites. Yeah, we're going to be talking movies a little bit after 2. We're going to be talking movies that pretty much exist because of Godfather. But yeah, I love Goodfellas, but yeah, Godfather tackles a completely different story over multiple movies. It's incredibly well done. Even though I don't see 3 yet. Future Godfather. Hey Cal. Joe Joker in here. Poem I can't pronounce. I cannot pronounce.
Apollonia.
Yeah, I'm horrible at pronouncing. Michael comes back and lays the smack down on their candy asses. Michael, because of a cold heart person in Sicily, I think he thought he wasn't supposed to come back to America. Yeah, I'm probably gonna maybe see it in a different perspective when I rewatch. Hey, big trivia winner. Oh, that's for Pops. It shows that Michael never find peace no matter where he goes. His family ties will always bring death to people he loves. So when he comes back to America, he knows who he has to become. Okay, so that's more of just maybe I didn't get that context when watching.
Yeah.
Reading the comments, that does make sense. I just felt like Sicily slowed things down for me. Have you guys seen the TV cut when the movies are cut as one long movie with extra scenes? Oh my good Lord. No. Oh, God.
It'd be hard to work between 2 and 3.
Oh my gosh. After watching part 3, I finally realized how difficult it is to make 1 and 2 so great. So many classic scenes. I think they drugged his drink to make him sleep. That is what I think.
Yeah, I was going to say. Give him some Unisom.
My father always made me leave the room when the horse head scene would come up.
Get out of here. It's a horse scene.
First 2 movies, I don't see Al Pacino but Michael. But the third one, I see Pacino and not Michael. That is my issue with it. But I think it's worthy sequel, especially the Coda cut.
Yeah, I think in the early 90s, he was in his I'm Pacino kind of phase. So I think that's probably why. He's a little bit more subtle in the first 2 Godfathers.
Yeah, and 1 2, he fully absorbs himself into that role, though. I'm the cousin Rob mentioned. My favorite thing about Sopranos is all the Godfather references, and especially Sil constantly quoting the trilogy. We'll be talking about that in a bit later, but Sopranos does not exist without Godfather.
Right.
A turtle is slow.
In my opinion, it was a 4 hours plus on AMC. Wow. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the second film definitely shows the juxtaposition. Wow, I need to learn how to speak. But between how Michael and his father handle the family business, Michael is very cold-hearted, and the Don always helped the community. Yeah, that especially shows in Vito, though, in number 2, seeing how much Vito tried to help people. And Michael is very, very cold-hearted, though. Very vengeful.
Yeah. Hey Tim,
AMC.
you got an interesting username in here at the bottom. If you want to scroll down, get rid of them.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my gosh. All righty. No, that person is gone.
All right. I just want to give you a heads up on that.
Yeah. that was
I
interesting.
love it. I don't see it.
I'm way late. Did someone already ask about your feelings of that weird book-sized $100+ set they put out? I mean, we didn't talk about that yet. I think only me and Tony have it, right?
Yeah.
That big 4K, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
I got it because of the art prints. I love the art prints.
Those are cool. Yeah.
Anybody hate both versions of the 4K box set? The one is a huge yearbook can't have on a shelf, and the other is cheesy paper, boring box.
Yeah. Yeah, I was definitely disappointed in that box set.
It's like, why can't people do what Sony does? Like, Sony's done such a great job with their box sets. They put the slip covers in there and everything.
Oh,
so even if you don't want the box set, you can throw the box set aside and still put them on the shelf as 4Ks, which is nice.
Those flipping cardboard things will not last long.
Yeah, I mean it's better than like a sleeve, but not by much. Yeah, I didn't buy it for that reason, honestly, because I'm like, I'll wait for Black Friday when it's going to be $40, because that box it just screams that.
Yeah.
How it's made.
We're going to be talking too in like literally 2 minutes once we're done with the comments, but yeah, that closing the door in Kay's face, and you feel that in the scene. She's like bawling her eyes out, and the door just slowly closes on her. Oh my gosh. He only cast his daughter because Winona Ryder dropped out at the last minute.
Yeah, she was supposed to be in it.
Michael, you don't come to Vegas to talk to a man like Mo Green like that. Anybody see Brando doing a Don Corleone spoof in The Freshman? Very entertaining comedy.
Oh, funny.
Matthew Broderick.
I watched The Freshman last year, like the Mill Creek release. It wasn't that good.
All right.
I figure with a cast like Matthew Broderick and Marlon Brando, it would have been a little more entertaining.
All right, so let's dive into 2, because I think there's more to talk about with 2 though, also because Michael he's a vengeful bastard in the second movie. Because I just finished that yesterday, and my God, that ending hits hard. Like,
yeah,
poor Fredo. I felt for him. He makes a mistake, and oh my God, that hit pretty hard. But I mentioned this in the I think I mentioned it within here too, but I wish that part 2, I almost wish there was 2 movies. I would have liked a full movie of De Niro, kind of like a prequel, and then all of Michael's story as its own movie. So,
that could have worked, yeah.
Yeah, what's your thoughts? Do you like it as it is, or would you want more? Or...
Yeah.
I like it personally. I always, like I said, I prefer the second one to the first one, at least the few times I've watched them. I can't remember why exactly because it's been so long, but I always remembered enjoying the second one more. A lot of it is because I like Robert so much, and I like the prequel showing that character growing up in the past and stuff. I just thought it was cool.
I think it works together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like I said, I don't know. I've been feeling a little bit differently about it from when I first talked about it. But it does show a nice like comparison between the two
Right.
characters as you go, and it further drives home the fact that Michael can't handle the business side of things and the personal side of things and balance those two as well as his father could. So I don't know. I could do a whole movie with De Niro though. I don't know. Which one would you all want to see first? Would you want the De Niro stuff in the middle, or would you want him to complete Michael's story and then go back and do the prequel?
I would want the complete Michael story and then go back and see Vito growing up and going into that role, because all the scenes with Vito, like those are, man, they're rough. Like even whoever the actor was for the younger version of him, when he's taken to that what's it, Don Sicily or something, or not Don Cece or whatever his name is. But when that guy is like ready to kill the kid just because he's his father's son and he's gonna come for revenge, that whole sequence is really freaking good.
You know what? He was right.
Yeah, he was right. That kill was freaking wicked too, just shoving the knife in and just ripping it right up the stomach.
Yeah,
but
that was wild.
I loved also in this one though the whole arc for Kay. Like you see Kay go from still loving to absolutely hating with every fiber of her being anything to do with Michael.
Yeah.
Like that.
What's the time span of this movie, would you say?
What the heck was the? It started.
I know the first one's over. The first one has to be over like 5 or 6 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one's, I don't know. I never felt like I had a grasp because it felt like the kids were about the same age the whole movie. So
2 years.
Feel like, is it 2 years?
Yeah, I think it's a few years, like in the present, and then past stuff skips a handful of years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was kind of interested. When do you think that Kay turned against him? I guess somewhere after she almost got shot in the bed.
I'll do it.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, Robert Duvall, loved him again. I think he's probably my favorite character between the two movies. I don't know, something about his character. It just, he mattered. He's not the family, but he matters so much. He's the right-hand man right across the whole way. I
love the final scene between him and Michael towards the end. I was like, Michael, I've been loyal to y'all this whole damn time. He's like, why wouldn't you trust me?
Yeah, where he tells him you could just go to Vegas if you want and leave.
Yeah.
That was. So, is there any scenes in 2 that stick out to you as one of your favorites?
It's been so long since I've watched it. It's hard for me to remember, but
I mean, I always like the part with Fredo and Michael on the boat. Like that's as iconic as it comes in that movie. But yeah, I always like all the De Niro stuff. Like I always remember enjoying the prequel parts of that movie the most.
I feel like the part where Al Pacino grabs Fredo's face and says, "You broke my heart, Fredo," has been like parodied to death in other movies, and I did not know that was a thing in this movie until it happened. I was like, "Holy shit!" That's where that came
Everything from this. Yeah. Those movies where everything you've seen in your childhood is referencing it at some point.
Yeah. Plus it's just a great scene between the two brothers.
I really loved the entire Cuba scene, basically. Just the whole trying to, ready to give the money to the Cuban president as bribery money, and everything going down to, him going, "I'm done, I'm out, I'm leaving," the country going to absolute shit, and Michael driving off and seeing riots on both sides of the cars and everything. It was
Yeah.
That whole Cuba scene was really cool. Well, multiple scenes.
I did find myself through this movie. There's so many like turns. I feel like between like the characters that I never felt like I had my bearings and like what actually was going on, like and who was going to turn on who next or who was really on whose side. Like the entire movie. Like it's hard to really grasp like what's Michael got going on behind the scenes, what's so and so got going on behind the scenes. Is this guy really working with this guy? Or is he working with this other guy? Like it's hard to figure out until you get to the ending of the court scene.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff always doesn't bother me, but I lose my engagement, I guess, in the story whenever I find myself not really knowing what the hell's going on.
You have to step back and ask yourself what the hell's going on. Yeah, that doesn't.
Whereas in the first one, I pretty much knew who everybody was. I feel like they did a good job of structuring it in a way that you didn't know everything from the beginning, but as you went, you started to understand how all the pieces were going to fall together. And they didn't give everything away until the end, but they gave more away than this movie, I guess.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
I get where you're coming from. Yeah, since I saw this yesterday though, that it's on my mind a lot though, because the whole Fredo arc and how it ends, and it's just it really drives home though how awful of a person Michael is.
It drives home just how unforgiving he is. Like he does not have the ability to forgive anybody at the end of this movie. Even when you think he might forgive his brother, because they have that scene at their mother's funeral.
Acts like he is.
Yeah, but then he takes him out on the boat anyway.
Yeah.
So,
while standing at the window watching.
After he just got done fishing with his son. So it's like you think everything's going to be okay because of that, and then it's not. And then his sister's a complete mess, in part because of his doing, and she's there with him, helping him take care of the kids and everything. It's all very heartbreaking at the end.
Yeah, to see Michael at the start of the first movie and then Michael at the end of the second.
And that was honestly probably my favorite part of the whole movie is how they flash back and everybody's together again.
The very, very end.
That's probably my favorite part of the whole movie because it really drives it home. And like it just left me feeling cold by the time I got to the end of this.
Brando was actually going to be in that scene.
I'm so glad he wasn't.
Yeah, he didn't need to be.
Yeah, I think it made it a more impactful scene because I was waiting for him to walk in, but then when he didn't, and he just kind of hurt him out there, it just added an extra layer to that sadness.
Yeah, just seeing Michael
You truly will never see the father again. The guy that held the family together, he's gone. And not even in this flashback can you see him.
Yeah. And you just see Michael sitting there smoking the cigarette for a good solid 15 seconds of silence with him just smoking the cigarette. Yeah, that's a really impactful end. And it was really nice to see, James Caan back for, a couple minutes.
Yeah, I missed him. Like I said, I loved him in the first one. And maybe that was another reason why this one wasn't as good to me as the first one. I don't know. I think he added a lot to the first one.
Yeah, most definitely. So we'll dive back into the comments real quick, which for some reason I'm having problems getting the comments to go down any further. First one goes from 45 to 55. The story builds up with Hyman Roth is really good if you're patient enough. Yeah, Hyman Roth's story is good. For some reason, my thing will not scroll any further. I don't know why. Is there more comments after this? I legitimately.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, not in my chat.
All right, I just wanted to make sure because it doesn't. This comment only shows halfway and then just stops, as if the window just won't go anymore.
Sometimes the people just get so engaged in the conversation that they don't even anymore.
All good.
That's what happens. It happens sometimes.
So now that we talked 1 and 2 pretty decently, can't not talk about the influence that these movies have had. So the 20s and 30s were absolutely filled with mob movies like crazy amount of mob movies in the 20s and 30s. And then they almost died out for the most part in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Like there's ones here and there, but for the most part, the mob genre, not really much of a thing. No. And then this comes around in the 70s, and we've had pretty much a solid string of mob movies since.
Mm-hmm.
So this has basically revitalized the whole mob genre, and it's without it, I don't think we have Goodfellas, we don't have Casino, we don't have Sopranos, we don't have any of these major classics.
Scarface came in the early 80s. Which they said Scarface was basically Brian De Palma seeing what Al Pacino could do in Godfather and being like, all right, I'm going to take this guy and turn him up to 15.
Turn him up to 11.
Turn him up to 100. Have him snort some coke and basically going to have Michael Corleone on coke.
Basically.
So
it's funny how genres are like that in the past. Like you were saying, there's gangster movies in like the 20s and 30s, and then the 40s and 50s were all westerns and sci-fi movies in the 60s because we're going to space. So there's all the weird monster movie, space race movies, and then kind of recycled after that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then like I said, we've had a pretty solid stream of them since. So what kind of mob movies are everyone's favorites? Does anyone have anyone to stick out that aren't Godfather? Like I imagine everyone would probably say Goodfellas and Casino also, but
I brought a pretty underrated one that nobody's talked about yet. Gotti. I don't know if anybody's joking.
The Razzie Award-winning film.
Yeah, to me, I think The Sopranos, the TV show, of course, to me is the closest to The Godfather. I definitely enjoy The Sopranos.
I need to watch that.
I still need to watch it.
It's very hard to do.
I've seen some of it, but I've never seen all of it. So it is good though. What I've seen.
Yeah.
But it just came out. Look at Miller's Crossing is a good mob movie. That, a much better mob movie than Godfather 3 probably that came out in 1990.
Yeah.
I was actually going to say Road to Perdition. Road to Perdition is great. I don't know.
I still need to see that one too.
Oh, you did? It's Paul Newman is fantastic, and Tom Hanks. When is he ever not fantastic?
Yeah. It's cool to see bad guy Tom Hanks. That's like one of the very few movies he's like.
Oh, is he bad in that movie? Now I gotta watch it.
Well, he's a gangster, so he's as good as a gangster can be, I guess. And it has like the best cinematography ever in that movie.
That's Sam Mendes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And did you guys ever see Boardwalk Empire?
That's good.
I saw the first season of it.
Yeah, I never finished. I watched the first, I want to say 3 seasons of it, and it was I really liked it.
Yeah.
But this is probably the closest influence to me that I actually know something about. But Breaking Bad has to be a pretty, Godfather has to be a pretty big influence on this. I know that Vince Gilligan said when he started this show that it was like Mr. Chips to Scarface. So he was more comparing it to Scarface. But Scarface can be compared to The Godfather. It's all the same thing, a man losing his morality to gain power and wealth and influence.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that I watched Breaking Bad before I watched any of these classic mob gangster movies. So this is like the first of this kind of story that I guess I've experienced.
Yeah.
Because I watched Breaking Bad probably 5 times all the way through.
Oh, wow.
I used to be obsessed with the show. I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
But that's probably the biggest influence for me, I guess.
I mean, I even find I like mob movies and stuff enough that even like the more popcorny ones, I enjoy quite a bit. Like, I don't know if you guys watched Gangster Squad.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It takes it much more of it's a more popcorn blockbuster type mob movie. But
is that the other movie with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone in it?
Yeah.
Yes. Josh Brolin, right? I don't remember.
Yeah,
it's
odd.
I just
Sean
I like
Penn,
Mean Streets.
Bad guy.
That's right. I always like Mean Streets a lot. The Scorsese's first gangster movie.
Yeah, I watched that a few years ago too. That was a good one.
That's what, 73, right?
Yeah, that's like because De Niro, I saw he was auditioned to be in The Godfather for like a small part, and then he was in Mean Streets, and then that's why they wanted him in Godfather 2, because I liked him in Mean Streets so much. So that worked out.
You know, I was so leading up to this, I was actually doing some reading and stuff. Marlon Brando actually tried to get Scorsese to not do Goodfellas because
really?
Yeah, because he did Mean Streets, and then he did a whole bunch of non-mob movies, and then he didn't want Scorsese to go back to mob movies and pigeonhole himself into that genre, which he essentially did, because you think mob movies and Scorsese is the name that pops into your mind.
He's so good at it.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny though. Marlon Brando didn't want him to do that.
And Coppola wanted Godfather 2 originally because he had such a terrible time making the first one that he didn't want to direct it. So he wanted Scorsese to do it, but they wouldn't let him. Which is kind of weird. That'd be interesting to see Godfather 2 by Scorsese.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I did read that little tidbit. I always go on IMDb and I look at like the trivia after I'm done. Yeah. You could find so many cool little facts on there. So we talked the movies, we talked influence. The last thing really to talk is the 4Ks, pretty much. Watch the 4Ks.
I've watched the first two, and they are both excellent.
You don't watch any of the special features? And by that, I mean Godfather 3.
So the only special feature I watched, somebody said there was more than this, but so Francis Ford Coppola does an intro, like a newly filmed intro. Which I'll be honest, I didn't even know Francis Ford Coppola was still alive. So
doesn't do much.
I didn't know for sure. I just kind of figured he was, had already passed. So that was kind of cool. Yeah. Having him do a little intro to the first one. It's about, I don't know, what would you say it is, about 2 or 3 minutes?
It was maybe.
It's very short, but it's a cool intro. But some people said there were more bonus features on here, other than the different cuts of the third one. But I didn't really see where any of them were new. But of course, I didn't have all the older versions either. So I don't know what's new and what's not.
Features on this set too. So
yeah, but I mean, as far as the transfers themselves, like it's so clean and polished, but like not in a way that makes it feel like it's like brand new or anything. Like it still feels like an old film.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it also, like when I'm watching, I'm like, this feels like it was made like this year. Like it looks so good. It feels like a new movie, but also doesn't lose that old school film feel. Mm-hmm. Also, I thought the grain there's like, at least from my perspective, there was very little grain. I know some people have a problem with that. But I thought the grain structure was really solid and it was just really consistent. I don't know. There's a couple shots here and there that are a little fuzzy in the first one.
Yeah, I remember.
It happens. You can't restore everything perfectly.
I thought the HDR implementation was great. Like the dark scenes really. I mean, there's a lot of dark scenes too. But
the whole movie.
Yeah, just like the beginning, because the way that they open it with the black backgrounds, you don't see anything in the backgrounds in the beginning. So when you first see Marlon Brando come out of the darkness, it's just it's the contrast. It's just so. Like I said, I felt like he was like right there with me. I was super intimidated when I first saw him pop out. But yeah, it was incredible work. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I say this every single time I see a new 4K, but it's like the best I've seen in a long time. I don't know.
It is tremendous. So
my gold standard for 2022 was Alligator, and this one surpassed it. Which Alligator was really good. Really good.
Yeah, I saw it in Watchmen.
Tony has this set too, but it's just me and Tony right now, right? That has this one.
Yeah. And I'm not going to open mine up until I see a price drop on it.
Oh no!
Hell yeah!
Oh, you have the other version though too, right? The regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nice set. The art prints are super nice.
They're cool.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to frame these up or something, but I like them a lot. And then the book that's included is really nice. So
Yeah, hardbound.
yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Did they include the book, the Godfather book, in it?
No, it's like an
like
art making of type book, and it's not even it's not a type of book. It's the same book that includes the discs. Like there's the discs.
Oh, sorry.
And then it's like part of it.
Yeah.
If I move my box around, that's all I hear is the disc flying all over the box.
I heard somebody talking about that.
Yeah, that's why I'm keeping it sealed, just in case I have to send it back. But does anybody care to see all the other releases? Would y'all want to take time for me to show you all those other ones?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Because I got some. So we have the Sapphire series.
Nice.
I think that's the one. Is that the Steelbook?
No steel books. I mean, I do have steel books, but I don't have them. But there is a steel book that looks like this.
Yeah, I got the first two on Steelbook.
Second one. Third. And then we have the 100 Years edition. And then some of my favorite ones are these white ones with the gold embossed titles.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
And then a box set. And of course, I got the new. I love these slipcovers on these new releases.
Mm-hmm.
I love the artwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it have been nice, Tony, if you actually got the slipcovers with the 4K on them in this, and then you didn't have to double dip like that just to get
that? Would have been nice.
Freaking nice.
And then, of course, I got this edition.
They didn't even think about Tony when they designed it.
No, they could care less about what I buy.
Flimsy ass. I mean, I wish they would have just sold the 4K separately. Like, I don't know.
Just make the box a little bit bigger, and they could.
I don't know why they don't give you all the options. I mean, some releases seem to, but some don't. Like the Hitchcock set coming up, you're going to be able to buy the slipcovers as soon as they come out.
Yeah, I'll buy. That's pretty awesome.
It's super cheap on
box
Blu-ray.
set. Like I'll get the box set anyway, but it's nice to have the option.
Yeah. I have this black one that Tony didn't have. It's the same as your one, except it's black.
Yeah.
I think they re-release it with
the same exact set.
I went to that store by my house in Minneapolis, or not by my house, but in Minneapolis. They had a Japanese Godfather trilogy. Oh, there you go. Godfather trilogy steelbook, and I almost bought it just because it was so weird, and now I wish I did because we're doing this.
You could have had something Tony didn't have.
Yeah, it was like this.
Do you want me to show off my VHS tape if I can find it?
Oh yeah,
hold on.
I used to have a DVD too. I also found a Region B DVD trilogy at Goodwill, and I was gonna buy it, but it was missing the first movie, so I was like, oh. Like I can't watch this, but I at least want it complete if I get it.
I have no other versions of the movie, just the 4Ks.
It was actually a lot quicker than I thought.
I've only ever had the DVD, then this one, and then eventually
this is still in the plastic.
Oh, yeah,
nice.
Still sealed. Look at that. The wedding's on the back. Cool. Bam. And just because it has De Niro in it too, but I got the Deer Hunter VHS.
Deer Hunter, yeah, that's a good one.
I love
Double pack. Boom.
3-hour long amusement.
I have fond memories with the two VHS, because with Titanic, I would always pop in just the second VHS and completely skip the whole first movie.
Yeah.
You just want to get to the propeller guy as fast as possible.
I'm like, I don't want all the romance. I just want to see the ship sink.
Yeah, it's like Pearl Harbor, same thing.
Well, I would fast forward to the painting scene in the first one. I watched that and then turn it off and pop in the second tape.
A lot of rental stores had worn out tapes at that sequence. That's not even a joke. It's just true.
I mean, no joke. That was my first pair of boobs on screen in the theater.
Well, you only got to see one
theater when I was 11.
Nice.
I think that is technically one of the most paused scenes in history, right? Because there's a list of
obvious damage on that scene in like the VHS copies. It's hilarious.
I think Sharon Stone for Basic Instinct is
Oh, yeah,
the
that'd be
most
up there.
paused. Yeah.
Still haven't seen that movie.
I
Oh, man.
if I did, it was like 20 years ago. It's been a
I'm just
while.
going to make a quick run through the comments. Road to Perdition is incredible. Donnie
Yes, it
Brasco,
is.
that's a good one. I didn't think about that. That's a really good one.
Yeah, Donnie Brasco I liked that a lot when I saw that a few years ago.
Once Upon a Time in America, I've never actually seen that one.
Me either, yeah.
1984 movie. I
Yeah,
was going to try to watch it, but after the
It's on
Godfather
the other
movies,
day.
I don't know if I can do the 4 hours.
it's 4 hours?
Oh, yeah. You thought 3 hours and 22 minutes is bad?
Yeah, it's
Kick
at
out
least
this
as
bad
long as
boy.
Godfather 2. Yeah.
This thing, hold on. What is this movie? 2 hours and 29 minutes. So that is 3 hours and 49 minutes, right? Yeah.
Say
I
what?
can do math.
20 minutes, yeah.
Shit.
That's like an Irishman.
Yep, I think that is about the same length as the Irishman.
Yeah.
What
And
movie is
Irishman,
that?
I watched that over
Once
2
Upon a
months.
Time in America.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Sergio
200,
Leone.
200.
I have to do like an intermission with a length like that.
I'll watch
Oh,
The
you're-
Godfather 2 over 2 days. I didn't do it in one sitting.
It's a long one.
I stopped
But-
it at the intermission to actually take an intermission.
Yeah, didn't they do was the intermission right in the middle? Did it feel like the intermission was like
No, it
2
was like
hours?
only an hour to go or something like that.
Yeah, it was only.
You
It wasn't
sometimes
like right in the
before
middle.
the third act of the movie.
Yeah,
Depends on the movie.
I love Johnny Depp's performance as Whitey Bulger in Black Mass. I liked that. Yeah,
That
He's
massive
also
good
fantastic.
one.
yeah. And Public
See,
Enemy.
there's a
I like.
movie I thought that movie was boring. But Black Mass, great cast, but it was a slow
I think
movie.
the difference is
never
I
watched
actually
it.
saw it in the theater. I think if I see something in the theater, I'm more engaged with it. But watching
Yeah.
them at home, it's just a little bit harder to
no,
get.
you can't get on your phone in
Yeah.
the theater, so you can zero
I-
in one.
I had to restrain myself. Like the phone was sitting next to me while I'm watching The Godfather. And I'm like, no, do not pick it up. Like this is a pay attention movie. You do not.
I have to put it in the other room. Like I have to,
Yeah, I would that's the kind of movie you have to.
because I will pick it up if it's right next to me.
Francis Ford Coppola's movies that have gotten 4Ks have all been incredible restorations. I can't think of a bad or medical transfer of his movies I've seen.
What does he have so far? Just The Godfathers and Apocalypse Now? What else does he have?
Yeah, I suppose Apocalypse Now. That's right. I have that one.
That's a cool
Is
set,
Jackson
too.
4K with Robin Williams?
I wish. Fuck. Be nice.
Yes, Tony.
Has Jack even got a Blu-ray?
Yeah, I think it does.
We're all going to buy it now after this.
Those 4K Godfather slips are gorgeous. So if you don't want to buy the entire box, just get those slips. Yeah, Tony makes me want to double dip a lot.
Well, they're not 4K Godfather slips though.
Mm-mm, those are
They're,
Blu-ray.
they're just Blu-ray.
Can you get the 4K separately? Or no?
No.
Just the
No,
first
just
one?
one
I think they
set.
did the first one, didn't they?
Nope, just the box
No.
set.
Oh, I thought I saw it on Blu-ray.com. I thought I saw the image of just the first one. Maybe.
Because think how many people probably would just want the first and second one and not the
Mhm.
third one, and they're not ordering the set because they don't want the third one.
Me, the Titanic sunk in the end and completely ruined it for me. And Mel did the same thing, watching only the second tape.
Second
There's-
tape's a banger, man. Except for the French girl painting scene.
Yeah, the lack of boobs, but other than
hand.
that, it's,
The hand on the window.
Yeah, the
Iconic.
there's 2 cuts of Once Upon a Time in America. Yeah, I need to
I
see
hope-
it.
Is there a longer cut?
Yeah.
Hours?
Dude, dudes, you totally got to do a Hitchcock talk. I love Hitchcock. Yeah,
Hitchcock.
I'd love to do more like single movie focused ones or like specific topic like that. Because this has been fun. I like brand new to these movies essentially, and I enjoyed the hell out of them.
Yeah.
8 Heads in a Duffel Bag is that's a fun one. That's Twilight Time
Found
has
it
a
at
Blu-ray.
DVD. Got it on DVD at the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, I thought at the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in America is Sergio Leone's movie to double points on goodness. Bram Stoker's Dracula. The Outsiders.
Yeah, that's a 4K.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a really good 4K.
Outsiders, yeah.
There's a 4-hour cut.
Count me out. Yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of person that I just want a movie to be no longer than 2 hours, like almost always. I don't see any reason to make it longer than that. But when it's movies like this, I think that they make good use of the runtime, and I'm okay with it. It has to be as good as the Godfather movies, though.
Sometimes, though, there's some like 3 hour, like Interstellar is about 3 hours, right? I think it's close.
Yeah,
it's like 240 or
Is
so.
it?
Yeah.
Or is it two? Is it 3?
It's like 245 or so. Yeah.
Well, too long. You could cut some of that out. Too long.
It flies by for me. That movie does not feel close to 3 hours.
Too long. I have to watch it again. Interstellar is actually one of my favorite Nolan films. I think it's, from what I remember, far better than Inception.
160.
True Romance comment, the Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken scene. Oh man, I got to get the now that Arrow announced the U.S. release for True Romance.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. My friend just told me he bought the UK one, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And then like a week later, they announced this one. I was like, "Oh, good, glad I waited."
Yeah, I did the same. I bought the UK release.
It looks the same. Is it the same artwork? It looks,
yes, the same.
Arrow does the same artwork on everything, so it's probably the same.
All right, so I think we're about ready to close it out. Does anyone have anything else to mention, or
anybody ever read the books? Anytime, like the first Godfather book?
No.
I mean, I want to now, but I know me and reading we don't go long, so
Yeah.
I'll definitely buy it, and I'll sit it on my table, and I'll have every intention to read it eventually. I'll probably read the first chapter, and then I won't do anything else after that.
Yeah,
that'll be me.
So maybe I'm like 50 or
Is there
60.
one book, or is there multiple books? That's what I was curious about.
I think there's one book. There might be multiple.
'cause,
I don't think Puzo did all the books.
Yeah,
I thought I read that Coppola convinced him to write a second book so he had source material for the second movie, and then he deviated massively from the source material. And so I don't know.
It's confusing.
And then they did the third one just because why not? Because money,
baby.
Let's make money. Yeah.
All right, so if we don't have anything else, we'll close it out, and I'll let you guys go full screen, and you can, outro yourself, and we can start with Tony. Tell us how boring Godfather was.
I'm sorry I was such a big disappointment with my comment at the very beginning of the live stream, but I do enjoy the Godfather. This was a fun talk, and thanks for asking me to be on for my last time.
You are never boring, Tony. Honestly, like I said, I wanted all opinions, so it was nice that it was pretty varied. It wasn't all gushing for the movies, and it wasn't like I hated it with the passion. It was all
right.
Yeah. All right, Rob, your turn.
Tony, if I could grab you through the screen like Al Pacino does Fredo in Godfather Part 2 and just get you I would. But I can't.
All right, Rob.
All right, guys, I had a good time. I'm talking Godfather. I hadn't seen these movies in a while, so it was nice to go back and rewatch them. I'm new to YouTube, so if you didn't subscribe, I think he left the thing down below to check out my channel. But besides that, yeah, I had a great night. And yeah, thank you very much for having me.
No problem. And yeah, like I said, down below both his YouTube and his Instagram. Everybody's YouTube and Instagram is down below. But now, Mr. Corleone himself.
Tim, I want to thank you so much for having me on tonight.
Mr. Corleone.
I talked to the Godfather. I had a great time. I love these movies. They're probably in my top 20 films of all time now. And I appreciate it so much you give me the opportunity. You invite me here the day of my daughter's wedding to talk to Godfather, and I appreciate it. You guys can subscribe to my channel, Kenneth Corleone, where we talk Godfather all the time. Thank you so much.
MidLevelMedia has now just changed into a Godfather channel. It's all Godfather all the time. Oh my God, there's the cat. Full screen.
Yeah. I was gonna grab him for the beginning of the stream, but he was sleeping, and I don't want to bug him because I was gonna, do the cliche voice. Well, yeah. I am Derek, the convicted cinephile. I'm on Instagram and TikTok when I remember that I have one. But yeah, I'm doing award season stuff now. I'm trying to get people to suggest awards-related videos for me to do. So if you have an idea or something you want me to say or talk about, give me a comment or message me on Instagram or something, and I'll try to make a video. Like Tim did one, and I made it the other day. Don't expect one every day like I'm trying to do this week, but we'll do it. The Oscars are tomorrow, and I'll be watching that, and I may or may not be recording my responses and reactions and then uploading them immediately after it's finished. So depends on who's coming over.
Yeah, I'm looking forward though to seeing how the Oscars plays out.
Real quick, who do you think's going to win?
What, Best Picture?
Who's winning? Derek?
Yeah.
You the Oscar guy.
God, it feels like Coda now. It's weird, but it does. Coda, not Godfather Coda. But but yeah, I want Power of the Dog to win personally because it's the only one of the movies nominated for Best Picture that I've seen that actually I gave a second thought to after the fact. But if Coda wins,
so far.
I feel like I've only seen 4.
Also watched that story right before this, so I've seen the old one 100 times, so I get the gist. And that was pretty. So if you haven't seen West Side Story, give it a watch. It's very well made.
I mean, it's
King Richard was nominated, right? King Richard was nominated.
Yeah, King Richard's good. Yeah, that's up for picture, actor, editing, supporting actress, and
I really just want Will Smith to win because he hasn't won Best Actor. He absolutely is winning.
Sure. Yeah, I personally don't want him to win, but he's winning for sure.
No, he
beat Benedict Cumberbatch for the BAFTA, and if he can beat Benedict at the BAFTAs, he's going to.
Benedict's got Doctor Strange. He'll be fine. Yeah. Give Will Smith his Oscar. He deserves it, for Christ's sake.
He doesn't need an Oscar. He produced the movie too, so it'll be cool to see Will Smith win.
And Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, she might win. I hope she wins too. And she produced her movie too, which is kind of cool. So.
That was a great performance.
Yeah, movie was, but she's great.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So, anyone still watching, subscribe, follow all of these great people. And like I said, I want to do more movie-focused streams in the future too, or franchise-focused ones. So, yeah, and just give me a DM on Instagram if you're interested in being on any. Like I said, you don't have to have a big channel or a channel at all. You could just be an Instagram person. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, this is open to anybody that just wants to chat movies. That's all I got. Bye-bye.
Good night, guys.
Bye.